Hey guys, Frostastic here, coming to you for another great video. So today we're going to be looking at a fire type gym leader, as if I was the fire type gym leader today. I've always adored fire. I'm a bit of a pyromaniac, so this one kind of speaks to me a little bit. I always enjoy looking at the new fire type Pokemon, whether that be Chimchar, Magmar, Magmortar, anything like that. I always enjoy looking at the new fire types. So this video here is going to be using Pokemon from Gen 1 through to Gen 7. So it's got quite the range on there. So on your normal Pokemon team, you can have up to 6 Pokemon. Most gym leaders use around 3 Pokemon, some use 4. I'm going to go ahead and stack this with 6 Pokemon, like a normal trainer would. So a little bit of guidelines for this here. There can only be one Mega Evolution and one Z move possible for the team. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you my 6 Pokemon. So first Pokemon that I'd be using is going to start out with Arcanine. So Arcanine is a legendary that wasn't. It's sad to say, but Arcanine got gypped. It was set up to be a legendary, but never actually made it as one. So this here picture that we can see here, this picture shows the 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. And then down here in the bottom right corner, we can see Arcanine. And yet Arcanine is not considered a legendary. This here picture is taken from Season 1 of the Pokemon TV series. So now instead of it actually being a legendary, every Officer Jenny runs around with a Growlithe that is just a Firestone away from evolving into this great big beast. Its stats are really interesting. Its physical stats are pretty close to its special attack stats, so it's fairly well balanced. If I look at Bulbapedia, which is what I'm going to be doing for most of these, it's kind of our official source for this stuff. So if I look at Bulbapedia and I look at the base stats, attack is 110, special attack is 100, and everything else is pretty well balanced. Mine is going to end up knowing these moves. It's going to end up knowing Flamethrower, Crunch, Sunny Day, which would end up being a TM, and Wild Charge, another TM. For an item, this Pokemon's going to get the Fire MZ. That's going to turn that Flamethrower into an Inferno Overdrive. I really like Arcanine. It's got a giant golden retriever look to it that you can just ride anywhere and cuddle. It would make it a great ride Pokemon and a great starter to our gym. And now it's time for the second Pokemon that we got. So the second Pokemon is a bit of a toss-up between 2 Pokemon, Alolan Marowak and Chandelure. They both have that Fire Ghost dual typing, but they rely on different stats. Marowak is more of a physical defense Pokemon. The defense stats are better than the offensive stats, and the physical stats are better than the special stats. I'll show that in a minute or two. Chandelure is different. It's much more on the special attack. Again, good defensive abilities, and the speed is quite good, but it can't take a hit. I like these two a lot. I probably alternate back and forth between the two of them, but they're definitely going to tie for that secondary spot there. My Marowak is going to get the thick club. Like all good Marowaks, that's definitely going to help us out. Definitely going to give us a good physical attack for our Marowak. It's going to boost that for us. The Marowak's going to know mostly TMs, which is a little bit sad, but it's going to help give us that move diversity. So my Marowak. So my Marowak is going to know Earthquake, Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, and Boomerang. So those are going to be the four that I take from the Alolan Marowak. And if I show the stats here, the base stats are the same for Alolan versus regular Marowak. Defense is high, attack and special defense are high as well, and the health is pretty good. Speed is rather low. Then we're going to move on to Chandelure, and I'm going to show you guys how Chandelure is different. So this here is a picture of Chandelure. It's a really good concept, and I really like the design. It's a chandelier. The whole Litwick group evolution, where Litwick is a candle, Lampent is a lamp, and Chandelure is a chandelier. It's a really good ghost fire design, and I like that line a lot. So with our Chandelure, we're going to give it the Quick Claw. That's going to improve its chances of getting to strike first, since it doesn't have much health. The moveset's going to be a little bit weird for Chandelure. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So Chandelure, we're going to jump up here, take a quick look at the base stats. 145, 2 at 90, 1 at 80, and then of course you can see that attack and health is actually rather low. Special attack is by far the highest. So when I jump down here to moves, mine is going to end up with Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, just to throw some grass types in and mix things up, and Smog. So Smog is kind of the one that people are like, why Smog? So Smog's going to be a good move for the second Pokemon, as it's the second Pokemon in the battle. That's going to drag out for at least 3 more rounds, and Smog has a 40% chance of poisoning the opponent. So that's really going to decrease health over time, and it's going to get at least 1 Pokemon down. And now it's time for the third Pokemon in our group of 6. So number 3 is going to be Volcarona, Beast of a Bug. I love this bug. It's definitely my favorite. It's a fire bug. Yes, the bug type is normally weak, but if you think that you can just boss Volcarona around, you're terribly mistaken. It's got really nice special scores, especially special attack, and a great speed and a good health. The only major flaw that it has is rock type Pokemon. It's 4 times weak against that. Plus side to the rock is that the rock is normally better at physical attacks, but weak to special attacks and special defense. Volcarona is really good in special attacks, but weak on physical attacks. So they're kind of inverses of each other. Now that normally wouldn't be a good thing, because that means that rock is just going to hit even harder. But Volcarona has a really good speed, and if it can get to go first, it's going to really smash things up. It's got a great speed, that's going to be its saving grace, whereas the rock type Pokemon are going to be as slow as Magcargo. So my bug boss is going to know these 4 moves. He's going to know Hurricane. I want to get some flying in there. Buzzkill. Who doesn't want to lower opponent's defenses? It's going to help even more. Psychic. That's going to add a little bit in there. We have to have a different set of moves for each one. And Fiery Dance. So Fiery Dance is a level 100 move. It's absolutely phenomenal. Besides hitting 100% of the time using Volcarona's great special attack, it also has a 1 in 2 chance to raise the special attack even higher. Which, I mean, it's already set as a special attacker, so raise it even higher, it's going to hit even harder, it's going to destroy even faster. It's great. For an item, my Volcarona is going to be using the Absorb Bulb. So this held item would increase special attack even further if my precious baby got hit by a water attack. So not only is it going to be lowering opponent's special defense, it also has 2 ways to increase its special attack, and it has a good speed. I'm calling this thing a monster. It's going to absolutely destroy it at my 3rd Pokemon spot. I'm just going to show you the stats here. We can see that special attack is definitely higher. Of course, special defense is high as well. Speed really high up there. not bad on the health. Attack and defense are low. And again, for type effectiveness, we can see that it's weak to rock, flying, and water. We can deal with water, that's fine. Rock is going to hurt it. The only real one that we don't have much against it is flying. But that's okay, we have a whole bunch of different electric moves on our other Pokemon, which are going to help protect this one. The fourth Pokemon that I'm going to be using is going to be Talonflame. So Talonflame is really cool, where our last Pokemon was a special attacker. This one now is going to be very physical and very fast. This one's kind of a sweeper. So we're going to give it a charcoal to make it burn brighter and hit harder on those fire-based attacks. It is a fire gym after all, so we have to boost those fire-type moves. It's going to offer a 20% boost. Our Talonflame is going to do a Sunny Day. That's going to help boost fire-type moves even further. Steel Wing, something different. Brave Bird, got to have a flying-type move in there. And Flame Charge. That's going to be good at damaging things and keep it going even faster. In a real-life battle, I probably would end up spamming the Flame Charge until Talonflame is faster than the Flash, Sonic, or Quicksilver, just so that I have that speed and I can just annihilate using the other stuff. Showing off the stats for our Talonflame, we can see that it's kind of mild across the board. It does have similar attack and defense stats there. Attack at 81, special attack at 74. It's only about, 6-7 points away from each other. It's pretty balanced as far as that goes, but the speed is just phenomenally higher. Taking a look at the type effectiveness, again, we have that weakness to rock, water, electricity that Volcarona had previously. We can deal with the water, we can deal with the rock. We don't really have anything for electric. That's kind of where we're getting let down a little bit, but that's okay. We can figure out other ways to counter it. And our speed is so high that it might not even matter. Now moving on, we get to the fifth Pokemon on our team. And I'm sure it's going to come as no surprise as to the dual typing that we have now. I'm of course talking about the Fighting Fire dual type. So for this year, we have two different Pokemon that I love so much. It's going to be really hard for me to pick one or the other. I'm of course referring to Blaziken and Infernape. So we have Blaziken. It's much more physical fighter, while Infernape is more balanced. I love them both. I can't really make up my mind which one I would actually want to have. So it's quite hard for me to actually pick. If we look at Blaziken, take a quick look at its stats. That's Mega Blaziken. This is Blaziken. Attack is much higher. Special attack is not far off, and it's not the best for the defenses. It still is kind of average. Average health, average defense, average special, and average speed. But it's nothing extraordinary. Again, going down, we take a look at the type effectiveness. Flying this time, easy to counter. Ground, water, and psychic. We can deal with water pretty easily. We're going to have to deal with water a lot because I figure there's going to be a lot of water type Pokemon coming in. Ground and psychic are a bit different, so we don't have too much to counter that, but that's okay. So as far as moves go, what Blaziken's going to learn, it's going to learn Flare Blitz, Sky Uppercut, Poison Jab. I mean, it's a 30% chance to poison, so why not? And the last move is going to be Earthquake. Earthquake there is going to end up being a TM that we're going to have to teach it. And then if we look at Infernape, so we have our Infernape. Take a look at its stats. Balanced, 104, 104. Again, average health, defense, special defense, and speed is higher. It's like every second one is high. Type effectiveness, again, exact same thing as Blaziken. probably due to it being the exact same typing. If you look at the move pool that our program's going to know, Flare Blitz, Close Combat, Thunder Punch, that's one that we're going to need to breed in. It's going to take a little bit of time to do that, but it's a good move to have. Again, Poison Jab for that fourth move. Why not poison them? 30% chance. We're still going to have another round to go through. We can drag that out a little bit. As far as items go, there's 4 good ones, 4 good items to have for both Infernape and Blaziken. Those 4 items are going to be the Pasho Berry. This is going to reduce the water damage by 50%. The Lychee Berry is going to raise attack when below a quarter health. So this here really comes into play with, well, either of them really, because they both have some physical moves. They're both predominantly physical. There's the Fighting Gem, which gives a 30% boost to Fighting type. Downside to that gem is that it's a one-time use, so we can only use it once. So it's a good one. So if we were up against a really tough opponent, we really need to hit it hard. We can just go full on with a Sky Apricot or Close Combat and just hit it hard, get it done with, and move on. And then the other option was the Muscle Band. It's the 10% boost to all physical attacks, which would definitely help us since we're all physical attacks. Not sure which one I would probably use. I'd probably use the Muscle Band or the Pasho Berry. I do like the idea of reducing water damage because I figure we're going to have a lot of water in this. We're going to be going up against a lot of water. But that boost to physical attacks is definitely handy. And then we're going to move on to number 6, the grand finale. So number 6, our 6th Pokemon of our group, we're looking at Megas, Mega Evolutions. So the last Pokemon on the team, it's a 3-way tie on the Mega Evolutions. I've got 3 options. I have Houndoom. I do love the design for the Devil's Dog. And then of course there's going to be Primal Groudon. It's an absolute badass beast. And then there also is Mega Charizard X. So I'm going to be ranking these according to the most likely. According to the most likely that I'd use for my final Mega. First is going to be the most unlikely, and then I'll get up to one that I'll actually use. So the most unlikely one is going to be the Devil's Dog. I love Houndoom. It's quite powerful. It's a special attack boss. We already have a special attack boss earlier. We have Volcarona. So if I went with Mega Houndoom, it's just going to be a repeat of that, and that's kind of disappointing. As far as a moveset goes, we can definitely take a look at that. First, I'm going to show you the stats. So it's pretty good. It's got 140 special attack, 115 speed. It's really quick. 90 special defense, 90 defense, 90 attack. So it's still up there. It's still a little bit above average. On those stats, it should be. It's Mega Evolution. It's meant to be stronger. If you look at its base stats, you can definitely see that they've increased. So from 500 to 600, they've increased by 100, and we can definitely see that special attack has gone up a lot. It's gone up by 30 points. As far as type effectiveness, it's weak to fighting. I don't expect that to be too much of a problem. I don't think there's going to be much of a fighting coming into that. Weak to water, of course. It's a fire gym. We can counter that. Weak to rock and weak to ground. So that's the weaknesses. If we come down here and look at the moves that we'd know. So for Houndoom, I wanted to have Flamethrower, Crunch, Shadow Ball, and Hyper Beam. The last 2 were TMs, Shadow Ball and Hyper Beam. It's going to give us a good little set of diversity, fire, dark, ghost, and normal. it will be a good Pokemon to run. Definitely a good Mega. Don't think it's the best option we can have for our Fire Gym. The second option that we have for the Fire Gym is, of course, going to be Primal Groudon. So this is quite a physical stats boss. It's quite impressive. Its ability, Desolate Ground, is going to cause water damage moves to fail, as well as normal weather-inducing effects like rainy day or hail to just not happen. Also, it gives Harsh Sunlight, which powers up fire-type moves. Like, all of that is amazing. Great for a final boss. Just hash it out. So Primal Groudon has a whole bunch of heavy hitters. So if we go and we take a look at that, so Primal Groudon, we'll jump up here to our stats just quickly. Good health, good attack, good defense, good special attack, and special defense and speed are still above normal. Total, stat total is going to be 770. Still really high, definitely high for normal Pokemon. If we jump back and take a peek at Houndoom over here, Houndoom was coming in at 600, and Primal Groudon's coming in at 770, so another 170 points above that. Normal Groudon, normal base stats, we can see are still impressive. It's roughly where Mega Houndoom is at. So Primal Groudon is a step above that. Looking at type effectiveness, weak to water, grass, and ice. I don't see that being too much. The grass especially, not going to come into play. You're not going to bring grass types into a fire type gym. You will get destroyed. Ice type, bit of a weird one. I might see that coming into play a little bit. I don't really care too much about that. If they hit me with an ice type, then cool. Good on them. They came prepared. Primal Groudon, however, weak to just ground and water. So that's going to be useful. Water, we can wipe off the map. Just going to have the ground. And if they hit with ground, then they hit with ground. I'm not overly concerned about that. I'm not going to build one just to counter all its weaknesses. So if we look at moves, Primal Groudon is going to come in with Earthquake. That's going to have an attack of 100, accuracy of 100. Hammer Arm, attack of 100, accuracy 90. Next we go to Dragon Claw. It's going to have an attack of 80, accuracy of 100. And Eruption, attack of 150, accuracy of 100. So Eruption, it's a fire special attack with the attack power of 150. It's an absolute monster move. Eruption's based on the health that you have, so it can be easily subdued. The more damage that we take, the lower we can actually dish out. So if we get hit early on and our health goes down to say 50, that's not going to be good. We're not going to be able to dish it as much, and we have to go back to Earthquake, Hammer Arm, or Dragon Claw to dish out a decent amount of damage. Even still, this Pokemon can be a real toll on any Pokemon, even other legendaries, especially if we can use that Eruption. Lead with Eruption, maybe get 2 of them before I take a decent amount of damage. It can definitely take definitely dish out a lot of damage and have a real impact on that final Pokemon in our set of 6. And then we have the most likely Pokemon to fill our last spot on our team. So it's going to be Charizard X. This is the boss's boss. My absolute favorite Pokemon, I think, across all the generations. I absolutely adore this monster. Its main ability is called Tough Claws. This ability grants Charizard a 30% boost on all physical attacks. And you want to guess what Charizards can be good at? Yep, physical attacks. So if this Pokemon can get off 1 Flare Blitz in a sunny day, Pokemon have that before that. I made sure that the Pokemon before that have that ability. That's going to boost fire attacks even further. Flare Blitz is going to run off of the physical attacks. in a sunny day, so we have a 2 times boost on that. Also, Flare Blitz is going to have instant thaw on that, just in case you think you can freeze it, plus a 10% to burn foes, and I think that goes up in a sunny day. What I can also do, I can breed in Dragon Rush. So the move has a 100% power and a 20% chance to flinch. So that's a 1 in 5 chance that we make someone flinch. Really good. Really, really good. I like that idea. So if they flinch, they can't take their turn, which means we can go again and maybe get them to flinch again. Third move that I'm going to give my Charizard X, I'm going to give it Giga Impact. So this is a whole lot of physical power bumped up by its ability Tough Claws. So really, 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 really strong. It's going to hurt Charizard, but not nearly as much as it's going to hurt its foes. So it's gonna be a heavy, heavy blow. Last move I'm going to give it is going to be Steel Wing. That's going to get rid of the rock or dragon type foes that the opponent might be carrying. So I find that people like to fall back on a badass dragon to save their butts for the final Pokemon. Also, it's kind of a trainer thing. Like, we like to have dragon type Pokemon, and dragon type Pokemons are really cool. We like to have a few of them on our team, at least have one. So that steel type move is going to clean up those rock guys, going to clean up the dragon guys, and help us win and keep our gym. So this gym is going to be really, really difficult for people to actually sweep or take. I'm going to show you the stats for Charizard. So it's pretty average across the board here. We do see special attack just a little bit higher. And then we jump to Mega Charizard X, and we see attack and special attack are now tied. Speed is now also high. And the other things are more or less tied. It does have a better physical defense than a special defense, but that's okay. And Mega Charizard Y, definitely much more of a special attacker, but we already have a special attacker. We don't want to do that. So we're going for Mega Charizard X. Also, look at this thing. It looks badass. It looks really, really intimidating, really powerful, and I love it. I've already talked about the moves, so let's take a look at the resistances and whatnot. It is weak to Rock and Dragon, but we have a Steel type move. We can clean those guys out. Only other thing is going to be Ground, so I mean, Ground is kind of popping in there a little bit often, but that's okay. We have other things that we can use to take that out. We have a powerful team, and they're gonna dominate. So here we are. The team's all done, all together now. We have our starter, starting with Arcanine. Then we have our second Pokemon that we're gonna throw in there. That's going to be Chandelure. Then we have our third Pokemon, that's going to be Volcarona in the middle there. Then we move on to Talonflame, then we move on to Infernape, and then finally we end with the Mega Charizard X. These are just a few little pictures that I photoshopped in here just to make things a little bit nice and tidy. But that's going to be my team there. My team of 6. Let me know in the comments below what your fire team would be like, what your fire gym has. Also, maybe let me know what kind of a theme that you'd go with for your gym. I didn't really go so much for a theme on mine. I kind of went for the Pokemon that I liked and the ones that were powerful, I guess. All of these Pokemon I do enjoy, and I think that they all are rather powerful. They're a bit different, and they lend their strengths together to make for a really incredible fire gym. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this gym, what you guys think of your own gym, what you'd have in your own gym. What kind of videos do you guys want to see next? Do you guys want to see a water gym next, a flying gym? Let me know what you want down below. And until then, happy gaming.